Okay, so we did this little exercise yesterday, and so we're gonna prime our minds a little bit before we actually go into setting a live trade. We're gonna watch Kevin do this, and this is a very easy to use meditation technique to elicit, first of all, actually bring us into the place where we can recognize how are we currently feeling, to bring awareness to our current emotional state or physical state, and then to be able to ask some better questions and get some better answers based on just a heightened state of awareness. And then I'm gonna throw in a couple of keywords and key questions when we're in a relaxed state that we can use to get our minds kind of ready and primed and focused on the task at hand. So in this case, that being trading, but you can really apply this to any area of your life. So without further ado, you sit comfortably with your legs crossed or feet on the floor, however you can relax for the next few minutes. And I'm going to give a couple of cues of focusing, bringing attention through the body, to the breath, certain sensations, and then into space. And then once we reach an awareness of space, we can throw in some questions and see if you can receive answers and maybe even feel them on an intuitive level, and not so much the need to figure out the right answer to this. So close your eyes, take a deep breath through your nose, and let go. Another breath in. And relax, letting go of the breath. And gently move your awareness to your toes. You can wiggle them, noticing the feel of your toes, the temperature that they might have. If they are in a shoe, it might be damp or dry. Whatever the sensation is, it's just fine. No need to judge it, just notice. Noticing the balls of your feet, your arches, your ankles, and your heels, noticing the whole foot. Bringing your awareness up your ankles, your calves, the back in front of your calf, where they meet in the knee joint. Noticing the joint of the knee. Any pressures or sensations that might be there, just notice. Allowing yourself to breathe, letting go, breathing out just as much as in, relaxing. As you bring your attention up your legs, back of your thighs, the outside, the top of your thighs, the inside of your thighs, into your hip joints, noticing your pelvis area, just bringing attention to the lower part of your body, moving attention into your lower back, your spine, moving up the spine into the middle of your back, noticing the sensation in your stomach. Maybe it's a little bit nervous with all this information. We're going to go in and trade. Maybe there's some energy here. And just notice. Let it move with your breath. Continuing into the diaphragm, just noticing, being aware of tension or relaxation, the middle of the back, the chest, the armpits, shoulder blades, into your neck, noticing the sensation as you breathe in and out, moving your attention into your shoulders, your arms, your elbows, your lower arms, your wrists, your hands, and all the way into your fingertips. Noticing that sensation, tingling, being alive, breathing. Notice the temperature in your hands, bringing the attention into your wrists, your lower arms, your elbows, your upper arm, your shoulders, your neck, into your throat. Notice the sensation as the air flows in through your nose, down through the throat, into your lungs, lungs expanding, holding air, and relaxing as the air moves back through your throat and out through your nose and mouth. Relaxing the shoulders as you move your attention up your neck to the base of your skull, to your jaw, into your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your eyebrows, your temples and forehead, relaxing. Moving your attention to the back of your head, the base of your skull, relaxing even further, bringing your awareness to the crown of your head, feeling the top of your head, even noticing that you can be aware of the space above your head, noticing the space that surrounds the head, the upper torso, the legs, the entire body is surrounded by space. Relaxing, letting any energy that's stuck move out with your breath. Breathing in relaxation, calm, focused awareness, ready to learn, ready to recognize certain patterns that you can recall with ease, having certain names being drawn as lines, remembering the suggestions, putting on this investor mindset, the trader mindset, recalling the candles, the wicks, my buckets, and getting into the mindset of how I can protect my investments rather than trying to be greedy. This is about risk management, about following the rules that I set up for my trades, making sound bets that compound over time, And just noticing how you relax as you get clear on how to go about what is to come. Remembering support and resistance and how they are interchangeable and where to look. Always look to the left to find the data that supports the higher highs, the higher lows, the lower highs and the lower lows. They all give indications of what way to move and what trades to set and make. Noticing this, the state, the quality of it. Perhaps there's a relaxation or other emotions. And just check. Notice how you would like to feel, how you feel now. Are they in congruency? Relaxing and this focus and readiness to start moving into a trade. Bringing your awareness into your body, your head, your upper torso, your hands, your arms, your legs, your whole body. Taking another breath, slowly starting to move, wiggling toes and fingers, moving the arms and shoulders, and opening the eyes when you're ready, bringing the attention back to the screen. And over to you, Kevin.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. I don't know if you guys can see, I'm actually crying, and I know it's got nothing to do with trading, but I just want to take a moment to say I'm so grateful for what is happening right now, what is about to happen, because having Kjartan here from the beginning of this journey, and then taking you through the process as he was guiding us through, I was seeing, you know, all the patterns and what we've just gone through and whatever, and then just putting myself in the position of whoever's on this call listening live now or listening to the replay. You now have, you know, these tools or these opportunities open to you to do whatever it is you would like to do in this space, to create whatever dreams, whatever buckets you need to fill, all that sort of thing. And it's just such a rewarding feeling to know that even if you didn't go through with, you know, trading or anything like that after this call, you have been armed with tools, you have been empowered with tools that you can use to improve whatever it is you want to improve in your life. And I'm so grateful that you're all here in this call and about to go through this process, which is really just clicking a couple of buttons here and there. But it, again, creates so much more self-awareness and other beneficial habits to look at. And as I was going through that process just now, I was reminded that I really should do this a lot more. Like I must do this a lot more. I do meditate every day, but in particular to trading, you know, my short version is I take 3 breaths or 3 to 5 breaths just before I trade. So then I can filter out, you know, whatever I have to do, the noise of the outside world, all this kind of stuff, whatever data I've read, whatever news is going on, and just clear the noise, have some calm to myself to go, okay, what am I about to read? How can I find the best possible entries and probabilities based on the knowledge that I've accumulated to put myself in the best possible position to reap the rewards of, you know, the language and what I've learned. So thank you. That was really an unexpected result, but at the same time, I know you work wonders, and it's unsurprising. Every time most times that I, you know, hang with Kjartan about something deep, then I end up crying. So Anyway, going back to the charts. Okay, so placing
your big meanie, Sharson.
placing a trade. We'll go through. I won't reload this chart anymore. Seeing as we've already identified, support, resistance, and all that sort of thing on this particular scale. We all know that we're on an uptrend. So then, our bias is that things are moving up. So what are we looking for? We're looking for long positions rather than shorting. We're not looking to counter trend, trades. So I'll just draw this quick trend line here, just so you guys have an idea of the trend. And you can see that this is a trend because it's bounced up and down. We've gone through all that sort of previous previous knowledge gathering, and I'll just zoom into this section here a little bit more so then you can see. Right. Okay, so support and resistance, right? Based on what you know, this being the price level today, where would you draw support? And I'd like everyone to unmute themselves and if you're brave enough to sort of say, yeah, round about here or round about there or wherever, just call it out. So then we can sort of test you guys as well on where you're at and what information you've retained.
I would say support.
Now remember, sorry guys, I was just going to say, remember, support is under current price, resistance is above current price.
So I would say support is about this level.
About this level, yeah.
Because it goes, you see it's gone down and then it went up, but then it fell further down, but then it still has the little wicks that are about that level, and then there's closing. So I don't know if it would be at the wick level or the closing level, a little lower.
Somewhere.
Closer to that level, I would say.
Yep.
How key is that area? That's brilliant. I'm just so proud that you've said that, Linda, because the 17,900 to 18,200 area is such a crucial area for the current, especially in the current trend of Bitcoin, and it's been bouncing around there like crazy.
Okay.
So I give you an A+.
Thanks.
Well done. Well done. That's
a good guess.
It's not a guess. It's based on what you've just learned, right? So we've had so much bounce around that area. It's been crazy. And once again, like what we said earlier, what a surprise. It's a round number. It's 18,000. Okay, so this comes into market psychology. This comes into the psychology of how people think. This is all linked together. Yeah.
And then looking left again, we can see, the market structure. There's higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. I'm not going to mark them out now, but obviously you're aware of that. Higher highs, higher lows. Similar to the previous Ethereum chart that we were looking at, we hit resistance at certain levels. So where can we draw resistance in this case?
Well, if it was me, I would about there. Oh no.
About here?
Yeah. Yeah, I would go about there because there's the wicks and then there's the close and I don't know, open, close, whatever that is. So that's about where I would put it.
Let me just make this. Oops, sorry. Just so you can see resistance there. Yep, A+ again. This is great. Like you're already recognizing. Based on looking left, so on the previous chart that we had with Ethereum, there was a clear move around this left area. But seeing as we're doing the day chart of Bitcoin, we already know, in 2017, it roughly started touching these areas of 20,000. So I won't scroll all the way back there, but you know that the data's there to support that we're about to break this all-time high, and then. Now that we've identified support and resistance, what is the most probable level? Like now that we're thinking as a trader, right? You've got this point here that was the high for this period, and then people started selling. It started creating what here? You've got your lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we're creating that sort of trend that you could draw from, say, something like that, right? There's a trend there also around about here. But overall, we're getting squeezed into this triangle. So I'll delete that, but we're getting squeezed into this section. So because we're bargain hunters, yes, technically you could buy around this area or look for potential purchases around there, but probability wise, we're looking, the market's moving sideways. So we're looking at potential purchases off this support level or off the trend. So I'll draw that in as the potential areas, right? Potentially there is a trade position somewhere along this trend line. Oops, sorry, around there, right? Potentially the market could move sideways. And remember the previous chart where we broke over here, we broke down the trend, but it was supported, maintained by support. So there's potentially, a sort of potential buying zone around here, right? We're not looking up here just yet based on the candles. And the third level that we're also looking at could be somewhere up here where, this particular zone, if this was to be the breakout candle, it would reach these levels and then come back and what's called like it's a break and retest. So it would retest this resistance level, which would then be what? Whenever resistance is broken and it shows that price is bouncing off it, what does resistance become? It becomes support, right? Resistance turns into support, support turns into resistance. So is everyone following so far?
Yeah, so obviously, Lily, you've come in really late, so don't if we're probably just talking a whole lot of gibberish right now, just kind of enjoy the ride, and it'll make much more sense when you see what we talked about for the last hour or two. But yeah, so yeah, that's firstly just what I wanted to say, so don't freak out. Secondly, what Kev just touched on there was probably something that we probably should have highlighted a little bit more earlier, in regards to when we break through certain areas. And I don't actually think we touched on it too much, but what Kev said is really important there, that when we break through a resistance line and we hold above there strongly, that resistance line becomes support, because that's still a strong area, right? Still a strong area. And it's no different to when we break down through a level of support. Quite often as a trader, we'll wait for that bounce back up to hit that line before we place a trade and short the market and drop it down. So whenever we break through support, that line remains and it becomes resistance. And whenever we break through resistance, that line still remains because it becomes a level of support. So that's why these key levels of support and resistance are so critical when you're looking at placing trades and looking at where the more likely probability of market prices bouncing off.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you look here on this previous chart, right, we're looking at the pattern. The price broke through resistance, but then it broke straight back down and then created, more levels to support that was the resistance point. It moved down a little bit. In this case, it actually broke the trend, but it was supported by this bottom line here. And as a trader, there was a bargain to pick up at that support level, and then it shot back out. Technically, if you did place a trade back here because of it, breaking through, there wasn't enough support happening to consider that a place to trade at that point in time. However, over here, because this candle, you can see, broke through, and this would have happened in a matter of hours, it was then supported. You can't really see it on this chart, but it's the bottom of this candle was the level just around $10,000 that it was like, okay, yes, this is definitely support because resistance has been broken. It's now support, and it just, rocketed from there. So, I hope you guys can see that this pattern based on the market structure and the formation and the trend lines and so on and so forth is pretty much what's happening here. We've had higher highs, higher lows. There's your bottom support line. There's your resistance. We poked through it a bit, came back down, and then it's, you know, bounced out, showing that's resistance.
Now use your highlighter, bro. I'm not sure if anyone else is getting like I can't really see where your cursor's at. Yeah, maybe use your highlighter if you can.
Can you see that now?
Yeah, I can see that highlighter now. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
just on the black chart. Yeah.
Okay, so the zigzag of that, and then moving down, and then breaking up, right? So on here, can you see?
So I can't see your highlighter on that chart. I don't know if that's the same for everyone.
I can see the little cursor, like the little plus sign.
Here?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. There is the plus sign, isn't it? Yeah. But
so are we following? Are we following the plus sign, or are we following the big cross? That's
I agree. Yeah.
Chart?
That's what I'm
confusing. What your cursor actually is.
Yeah, because you've got the little plus sign, plus you've got the big. You know, the lines. It's showing two of them.
Oh yeah, just following the cross. Sorry.
Okay, we're just following the cross. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so, okay. Sorry, I had the magnet on. So the magnet sticks it to the candle. Sorry. So yeah. So we over here we had this high, low. You know, you could say that's a high, that's a low, that's a high, and then starting to form like a smaller structure here, right? Sorry, it looks a bit messy.
Okay, cool. So we're yeah, cool. Okay, because there's two. So there's like a little cross on your screen, and then there's that big one. So we're following the big dotted line, the big dotted line. There's like a little cross. Can you see that little cross, dude? There's like a little cross, like
no,
I don't know, a couple of centimeters.
Just shows the cursor, like a little cross, yes, which is my cursor, and then the bigger cross, which just lines up with the price and the timeline.
That's cool.
Right now I'm on, you know, roughly, what is it, 19,930 on the 1st of December. That's where my cursor is.
Yeah, cool. So maybe when you're doing these drawings, just use that purple lines again, because that'll give people a better idea.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm looking at here is that, you know, there's this sort of downtrend here that I'm looking at, and at the same time, it's broken out of that trend. So if I go back to this slide here, you know, technically we're in this point where it's broken out of that trend, right? And it's also being supported by the support area here, right? So that's why we're looking at, okay, potentially there's a bargain here, or there's bargains here if it breaks the trend and is continually supported. Or if I miss those, there's also a potential to buy somewhere around here, right? Because we're looking at the day chart, the day candles, then it's sometime in the next couple of days, or potentially the next week or so. It could even be moving into January, right? But those are the areas of interest if we're talking about what we've learned so far. You know, this, when it comes to trading, yes, you can make money really quickly, but what we're doing is not a get-rich-quick overnight scheme. We're you know, looking at the most probable areas. So price could be rejected here. So in 12 hours and 44 minutes, price could be rejected, and you know, it could bounce back down around here in this channel, right? Somewhere there, similar to the previous chart that we were looking at. All the time, it's forming market structure. It could, by some stroke of a miracle, suddenly break up over here, and then we reach that, you know, the high level of 20,000, and then there could be a lot of people that are like, well, I bought in at 20,000 back in 2017, so I'm going to sell, and then the price starts coming back down again, and you know, corrects. In this case, it's just forming another market structure, and then you know, resistance becomes support, and then it bounces off there. So that's why I've kind of circled this potential zone as a potential buy area.
Sorry, Kev. I just wanted to say, so the whole time we're remembering that trend line, right? So that white line that's going through, which is the trend line, is an extremely strong trend line. Okay, we've touched that trend line a lot over the last month and a half. Over the last 45 days, we've touched it a number of times. So therefore, that trend line is the reason why traders and other people in the space believe we're coming into this tight squeeze before it potentially pushes out. What we're thinking to the upside as opposed to the bottom side, but it could go low, is the reason that this trend line is so incredibly strong, because it's followed all the way up. You can see just clearly here, it's touched at 1, 2, 3, 4. Even when it's gone under, it's acted as the level of resistance, 5, 6. You know, it's traveled the whole way up. This move that's been made. So this move since March, right? It's had this general trend that it's kind of, I guess you could say more so around September, even if you want to put it there. It's kind of coiled like a snake around this trend line, and so therefore there's going to be a lot more of a chance of price bouncing off that line as we move up. And you see how we're getting squeezed into this triangle. So therefore, around the end of December, we're going to have this, if it doesn't break out into the 20K mark, we're going to have this triangle being squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and something's got to give either way, right? So either the buyers, so the bulls are going to win, it's going to go up, or the bears are going to win and it's going to go down. But either way, as traders, we're prepared for the next move. It's about preparation. So we're ready for whatever the next move brings us, because either way, we're going to have a plan of what we're going to do. If it breaks up, like what Kev said, then that 19,300, 19,500 mark becomes support. If it falls down, then what we're waiting is for a drop to that key $18,000 area. And then, you know, if it breaks that 18,000 and goes lower, well, then we'll do is we'll find where the next support area is. So we're always prepared for whatever move is about to be created. And doing really simple lines, even if you disregard triangles and everything else, doing really simple support and resistance line, which is your horizontal lines, and doing a trend line, and understanding that market structure is going up with our higher highs and our higher lows. And now we've reached a point of a squeeze. We're prepared for whatever happens. Whatever happens, we're in a position where we can earn more crypto either way.
Yeah. So yeah, to illustrate what Troy was talking about, since he doesn't have control of the mouse, like, you know, if the price, say, ended up breaking this trend and there's a bit of a sell-off or whatever happening, you just look to the next trend and the next level of support. The reason this is a strong level of support is over here, you've got this huge wick, the candle bouncing back up, like over here, right? When the price fell down and people are like, oh no, it's you know, crashing. Well, then it recovered just as quickly, and it recovered off that point. This also happens to be, it used to be resistance, and then it broke through and created, you know, this next move up there. So does that make sense? That as a trader, we're just looking for these particular areas where right now our main trend is this one here, this main line. So the next moves we're looking at are either that it breaks out of here, that it bounces off the trend, or that it bounces off support somewhere. And then our contingency plan, if it breaks through that, is that we look at the next trend and the next support areas for potential, you know, because I know it's getting a bit messy on this screen, but you've got this triangle here, right, that it's getting squeezed to, but there's also a larger triangle here, right, based on this trend. So yeah, you can you know, get confused with paralysis analysis and all that sort of thing. But for now, we're just looking at what's most probable and, you know, where can we put our positions? Because regardless of whether we win or lose on these positions, you just enter the next trade and you have the same probability of winning or losing on that next trade. And so long as we're risking only 1% of our account, you know, a tiny amount, then we have more chances to enter more trades and build up our win rates there. So what I'm leaning towards is potentially trading along from the support line. So wherever, you know, support and trend line. So if I was to put just this initial risk to reward position here, right? So at the moment, you know, it's at a 1-to-1 level. If I put in here that, okay, I'll start off with an account size of 100 USD, just for reading
now.
this.
Sorry, and just so you guys know, right, we're going to, because it's impossible to show you guys the tools we're using here, and we're going to, what we're purely going to do here. If you see tools pop up like what Kevin just had, disregard, you know, oh, how do I get that tool? How do I do that? That's for another time. What we're doing here is purely working out risk to reward ratio. So if you see Kevin pop up little tools and things like that, don't stress about it. You've got plenty of time to learn how to use the basics of TradingView. This is purely just to give you an idea of risk to reward ratio and placing a live trade.
Mm-hmm. You know, what I look for first is the market structure. So, you know, we've formed this, you know, high, low, lower high, lower low, and then now this higher high relative to this formation that I'm looking at. So I want to be looking below this particular level, which is technically also another level of support, right? So in terms of where I put my stop loss, it would be somewhere around there, say, right? I'm below this particular week. So what that means is that if this price was to suddenly crash down and go back and hit support and maybe go a little bit lower, I'm giving myself this buffer of 2.91%. There's 2.91% deviation from my entry point, my entry level, that I could potentially lose my, in this case, if I'm putting in a dollar, then I could potentially lose $1, or in this case, $1.05. I haven't done it, you know, exactly, but so what this is saying that is, if I had $100 in my account, I could potentially lower that account to $98.95. That's my 1%. However, if I target, you know, say 20,000 flat, roughly there, $20,004, that's a 10% gain on my account. Therefore, I would have $103.96. And my risk to reward is 3.77 to 1. So I'm almost like quadrupling my position of $1. If it was a 4-to-1 trade, that's a little bit easier. So there you go. So I'd make $4.20 versus potentially losing $1.05. Hopefully that makes sense, people. Now, sorry,
you'd make $4.20 for each dollar that you have.
For the $1 that I put in on this trade, because for this example, I'm just using $100 in my account. So
we're using 1% of our trading account, which is what we do. And just before you do question this, we use what's called leverage trading, which means that we actually do only risk 1% of our trading account, but we can make much more, but we're not even going to enter into that territory today. So just know that for mindset, we only ever risk 1% of our account per trade. And the reason why Kevin has he hasn't just randomly decided I'm going to do a 2.9% loss there potential. He's decided that area based on looking to the left. So you can see when he looks to the left that the previous, see those bottom of those wicks, they're around that kind of $17,600 mark. So what we would do is we would drop our stop loss just under that, because there's a chance that if price does drop back down, it could wick down to that $17,600 mark. So we would drop our stop loss under that, because we don't want to be stopped out of the trade, because there's more of a chance of it bouncing off that mark and going back up, because previous data over the last 20 days has told us that every time it hits that 17,600 mark, it bounces back up, right? So what we're trying to do is maximize our profits. So we're going to set a trade for the future to say, next time it hits 17,600, I want to long the market. So I'm going to place a trade to say that the market's going to go from 17,600 to $20,000 or whatever it may be.
18,000, yeah.
Sorry, 18,000, yeah.
If you are placing a trade here, which is totally viable. What would happen though is that if you were to say wait for it to bounce here at the 17,500 level, because of previous market structure to the left here and the trend, you would have to place your stop loss below this trend line, because look at what happened the last time it was, you know, at the 17,500 level. It actually broke through, came down, and then came back up. So as a trader, you don't want to be stuck in that situation. Yes, it's more than it is probable that it will go down to that level. However, look at the wicks on these candles, right underneath here, versus the bodies. The bodies of these candles have formed a lot more above 17,500. Oh, sorry, above 18,000 than they have 17,500. So does that make sense? If I was to do this trade, they're both viable positions, right? It's just that this one gives me less risk to reward. So this is a 1.76 reward. So in this case, I'm risking $1 roughly to make $2.57. Whereas if I look at the probability and what we know, you know, based on what we've already just gone through. So there, if I, oh, sorry. Got the paintbrush icon still on. If we go based on what we already know, and we're going to target again 2000 something, 2004, if that was the case, and our stop loss was here, instead of gaining, you know, $2.67 or whatever it was, we're potentially getting $3.96, or I think it was $4.20 before, wherever I had it set. So that's why I'm using this calculator. So let me just punch those numbers back in again. So we were entering at 18025.27. Profit level was, we were looking at 20,000 and, sorry, 20,004. And the top level 2.91.
We've lost your sound, Kevin.
Yeah, we just got a lot of feedback.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So just trying to line these up again. So that's what we were looking at before, the scenario of, you know, potentially making $4.20 and risking $1, versus the other one where, yes, we're giving ourselves more space, but only making, what was it, $2.96 or $3.96 or something like that. Anyway, moving forward. So if this is the trade that we're looking at, right?
Sorry, just quickly, Kev, before you go on again, because I can see a couple of it might just be me. I can see a couple of faces that are squinting a lot and obviously taking in a lot of information. You will not understand this as we're explaining this. The reason why we are recording this is because you need to watch this recording again. And if you're as slow as me, you may need to watch it 3 or 4 times. You will need to watch this recording again. We're kind of condensing 20 hours of information into 3.5. So give yourself some slack. Don't think that this is above me and you can't do it, because you can do it. You just need to. So this covers for the people who are watching this recording. You are going to have to watch this again and again and again to understand it, but you will get it. So I just wanted to clarify that if you're feeling how I was feeling at this time when I learned this.
Yeah. So we've used.
Sorry, Sheree, did you say something? Or
yeah, I just have a quick question. Are you, Kev? Are you using, like, is this Trading View what you're
Trading
using?
View, yeah.
So what you're putting in here, it's doing it for you as well. Like, you're just putting in your, like, kind of information.
Yeah, I'm just drawing on a chart. It's not putting the trade in for me just yet.
No, but you're already, it's working out the money for, like.
Yeah, it's working out all the numbers, so I don't have to think. That's why I was saying before, I don't necessarily concentrate on this stuff. I was just showing it to you guys so you have an understanding. But all I really look at is the risk to reward when I'm drawing something up. What I don't want to see is something like this, where I'm risking whatever the account is, whether it's $1 or $10 or $1,000, to get a 0.53 reward. It just doesn't make sense. Why would I risk that much to only get, half of what I'm putting on the table? So in this case, if I was to risk $1 to only get you know, 57 cents in this case, like that's not a trade that I would take. Some people might take that based on their particular trading strategy, but this is just my personal thing. I try to look for trades that are 1.5 or higher. So what that looks like is this would be a viable trade for me, that if the price comes down to here and my order is picked, and then I take profit at this level, look how that also makes sense, right? Because at that level, there is, you can see here, potentially support and resistance, right? There is a level there where it's happened before historically that, you know, prices has come up. So if someone, say even on this candle here, if someone entered a trade there and then sold at the top here, or if someone entered a trade here and sold at the top there, it's a viable level for this 1.5 to 1 risk reward to have played out. And it, you know, it would have been more like if someone was, you know, trading these levels, bouncing up and down in that range, that's just as correct or valid as someone going, you know what, I'll just be patient and wait for the trade to come to, you know, the trend line, bounce off support, and then just be more patient and wait for a breakout to, you know, back to previous all-time highs. In which case, yeah, it's going back to, you know, the start of the video, trading styles and all that sort of thing. You'll work it out yourself, you know, what kind of a trader you are. So does that answer the question? Like, yeah, over here we're just drawing lines, I guess, and
the tools give you all the information.
If you put that information in, what you just were talking about, do you get an alert, or do you have to physically sit there and watch it?
No, you can set alerts. So what I was saying before, like say this resistance line, right? I can double click here and right click and add an alert on this horizontal line, and I can say, okay, this is the coin pair that I'm looking at, Bitcoin to USD. If the price crosses that point, then I can say here, you know, Bitcoin crossing whatever the price is, 19,000, was it 19,385? And I can send whatever message to myself is related to that. So I might say, you know, wait for it to come down, come back down. So this is what's called a retest, right? Break and retest. Wait for it to come back and look for a long entry, something like that. So if you download the app, or you can get it sent via email, and there's a whole bunch of different things. But if I create that, then when the price does break that, it will send me that alert. So yeah, I don't have to sit in front of the computer all day doing this. You can literally do your charts in like, you know, 15, 20 minutes, say in the morning, or whenever it is that you want to trade, and then set your alerts and then go about your day, and then just enter the trades according to the alerts that you have. Like over here, these are all the different coin pairs you can do. Like there's literally thousands of them. So
maybe we can run through a full play, because otherwise, if there's so many different information, it's hard to follow kind of like the
yeah, okay. So yeah, so the full play that we're doing in this case is that we want to place this particular trade here. So I'll just readjust this back to my, what was it, 11.66, right? That's the trade that we're comfortable with. Over here, there's a calculator that I'm using, which basically I've entered in my sorry, I'll adjust this stop loss to 2.91. Going back to the process, 2.91, yep. So I've put in my price of 2.91%, sorry, the stop loss level, and looking to take profit. In this case, being a smarter trader, I guess, like if we're putting on that hat, you know, not waiting for it to hit 20,000, maybe I'll just be conservative and go and, you know, look at, say, the previous top of this candle, right? So 19,705 and 97 cents. If I set that as take profit. So now my risk to reward has gone down to 3.2, but I'll still be making $3.36 on this thing. So I'll change this to 9.32%, right? And what this basically shows me is that there's my risk to reward here, 3.2. My position size, this is what I'm going to be putting in as the SAT value. Remember we said, you know, we're trading SATs in Bitcoin, Satoshis. My potential loss is I could lose $1 on this, but my potential gain is $3.20. So naturally, this will be different for everyone depending on your account size. If you were putting $1,000 in, you'd be risking $10 to make $32. If you were putting, you know, if you had a trading account of $10,000, you risk $100 to make $320. Hopefully that makes sense to people, but in this case, I'm only, you know, going to work with 100, so it's a nice round and easy number. And then I'm going to go over to the actual platform, which in this case, it's Binance, right? And in Binance, there are a few different ways to trade, I guess, or different contracts to trade on. I won't get into the details of that. I'm not going to have to redraw things over here, but just so you know, you do have those options. And in this case, ignore that I'm going into futures. Sorry, Troy, because I only funded my futures account, not my spot account with this. So pretend that, yeah, this part isn't, you know, in the video. It's essentially the same thing.
This is essentially what you would see anyway, but just,
yeah,
you know, I don't think the guys are going to see all the extra features that are there anyway, mate. So don't stress about that. This is just what we're going to see. What's going to come up on Kevin's chart is what we were just looking at before, and then he's just going to apply what we just drew up on TradingView and apply the trades in Binance.
Yeah. So here's that same chart, right? You could draw in your support resistance levels and all that sort of thing, but there's no point doing double the work. You know, what we already know is that we're entering at 18,025, we're exiting at 19,705.97 cents, and our stop loss is at 17,576 cents. So over here, to place that trade, right? This is the sneaky little trade that I tried to put on the previous call, but I'll delete all this data. You can see there, short-term time.
We won't talk about that one.
So over here, I'm going to put in my price that I want to buy at, which is 18,025.
We probably should say actually, and put it up, that trade that Kevin and I did this morning actually should have paid off if we were concentrating a bit more. But it literally did what we said. Well, I'm going to give us a wrap. Bitcoin literally did what we said it would do. But we just missed the entry due to a user error.
Yeah. So I was targeting that. I should have made it a little bit higher, but instead I was kind of just a little bit below the candle. But either way, that trade would have given, you know, or even at this point where it is now, right?
Yeah.
That is a, you know, 7 to 1. I think I had it at 8, actually. It was 8 to 1 reward.
Yeah.
So if I put $100 in, I would have, you know, made $800 from this morning's call. But in this case, okay, we're only working with small numbers. Going back, so 18,025.27 is the price here, my entry price. And I can just copy and paste this, you know, BTC amount into there. So we're buying 0.0001906. Sorry, 96. Oh, sorry.
So you see on the
slider.
on the right here, Kevin is typing in this information. So you see, and once again, disregard the process of doing this. We're more so just showing you what we're putting into play from doing the analysis that we did. You're not going to remember how to place the trade, right? Or you might remember if you watch this video 5 times, but we're just showing you the process of what it is and putting it into action. That once we've done all the hard work, we'll call it hard work in TradingView, we simply go in here and punch in the numbers.
Yep. I'm just going to reset, cancel. Okay, so I'm just putting in 1% of my account. You could type in the numbers here, like the 0.001, or just use the slider. That just basically tells you how much Bitcoin you're going to be putting into a particular trade. In this case, I'm just going to do 1%, right? You can see there, that level there, 0.0001 is pretty much this, just not bothering with the 1.96% or whatever. Sorry, the 906. Anyway, and then I'm going to set my take profit. So that's what TP and stop loss stands for, right? My take profit.
That was just under, just so you guys can see it, that's just under on the right-hand side. You see how the price, he's got price there, 18,025.27 Can you guys see that on the right-hand side of the screen?
Yeah.
Do you want to just hover your mouse over it, dude?
Yeah, can you not see it?
It's just fairly small. I just know, like, for people who have never looked at Binance before.
Okay. Just around.
Maybe can you? I don't even know if you can draw a line in it, but yeah. So this is the weird thing, dude. Right, your mouse is like to the left of those boxes. So as you're moving the mouse around the boxes, right, we're seeing your mouse to the left of it. It's really strange, but.
Oh, okay. So now is it on those?
No.
More to the right?
Yeah, more to the right. There. Now it's on the boxes.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't realize that. Yeah, on my screen, it's totally like to the edge of the screen. So just
that was the confusion before.
That was the confusion, yeah. And that's why I asked you to do the purple writing, because we were seeing your mouse next to it. But anyway, disregard that. But you can see what on that right of the screen. Can everyone see where Kevin's typing in numbers? Yeah. So it says price. Underneath it, it says size. So what Kevin's going to put in is 18,025 because that's the price he's going to buy in. The size he's going to do is going to be 1%. You've got 3% in, dude, just so you know.
I'm just basing it off the calculator numbers. So here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. We're looking at exiting at 19,705 and 17,500. So I'll just put those rough numbers in. So
we go back here and we tick the TPSL box, which means take profit and stop loss. So all Kevin's putting in here now is take profit. This is all automatic, right? So if this trade plays out overnight, Kevin doesn't do a thing and he's made his $3.20 or whatever it was. So he simply just put in 19,705 as the take profit. He's put the stop loss in at 17,500. We know these are the numbers because we just drew it all up on TradingView. And then the next step that Kevin does is simply press the buy long button, which will place the trade for us.
Yeah, and you can see there it's just placed the trade down here in my open orders.
So you see down the bottom left-hand corner, open orders, it says 1.
It's played. So just for the sake of this, I will draw it up here just so you guys can sort of so I don't have to.
Down the bottom of the screen, guys, can you just try and hover your mouse down there again, dude? But you see how it says BTC USDT. It's got the green buy sign, so buy in green. So buy means, once again, we're not selling it, we're buying it, so we're longing it. It's going up. The price that Kevin's going to buy it for is 18,025. The amount of Bitcoin is 0.001. And yeah, so that's all in place now. So he's already set his take profit and his stop loss. So those things are in place as well. So as soon as that order takes place, those take profits and stop loss will come in with that trade, and then that'll play out. So if that plays out overnight, then that all happens automatically. So all our work is done on the chart, and we simply go to Binance to input the numbers that we've already done up on our chart. Yeah.
So yeah, essentially that's redrawn, roughly what we just had on TradingView, right? Can everyone see that?
Yeah, we can see TradingView. Yeah.
So that whole process, if you were to do it without the explanations and the whatever else, should take 5 minutes or less. You know, once you've done the analysis. Here's the trend line, just so you guys can see that. And basically, that's it. That's placing a trade. I haven't you know, won or lost anything yet. All it's done is put the price in. So then this level, this yellow line, or I'll delete the yellow line and just go with the dotted green line there. When or if the price hits this level, then my order is triggered. It doesn't have to, sorry, it also doesn't have to, you know, follow this direction. It could just come straight back down and then trigger that. So don't take this as like a timeline as to the order gets triggered, you know, past this. It's just an indicator of the level. So I can, I'll just move it.
This is why it's important to be an active investor or an active trader, because if Kevin just forgot about that order and the order was like $1,000 or something, right? And Bitcoin went up to 25 and it stayed around there for the next 5 months or 6 months, and then had this massive drop, Kevin's order would you know, get taken out at $18,000 in 5 months' time if he didn't cancel that, right? So you need to make sure that you know what orders you've got open, and because otherwise it's going to trigger that. And by that time, in 5 months' time, we could be in a completely different market structure where we're potentially expecting it to drop way below there for whatever reason, and then he's just done himself, you know, $100 or whatever it is. So it's always really important to make sure that you know you've got these set. And like what Kev said, it doesn't mean that it's going to trigger it on a diagonal direction or a straight vertical direction. It could go sideways for another month and then drop down. So it's got the potential to do it in any way. It's just going to trigger it when it hits that amount. Yeah, because this candle you can see here we're on the day chart, right? This has 12 hours to go. So we don't know whether this is going to go up there and break through, or if it's going to close down here, could even go down there. We don't know that yet. But as a informed, smart trader, we can, you know, have a better probability of picking that it would reach, you know, the zone that we've picked because of all the reasons that we've already gone through. So at this point, placing that trade, which, you know, would have taken a few minutes, you can walk away from the computer. You could place more trades. You could have a look at, okay, in the previous call, Troy and I were talking about, like, you know, the icing on the cake. If this is like my cake, but at the same time, I'm, you know, also thinking of the probability of this candle could break out and then do that retest. The other thing that you could do is place another trade or another order from this point, and, you know, potentially going up to whatever the target is. And this could be a shorter term trade on a smaller time frame. But I won't go into that now. But that's pretty much what happened, or what played out this morning, where just to illustrate, we had this, you know, triangular form here, and the trend line that was about to be broken. And so if I drill down to the 4 hour charts, right, that's what played out this morning, where this was my little icing on the cake trade that I wanted to do, where I could see that the price was stalling around here. And oh, sorry, I keep forgetting you guys can't see that. Yeah, we need the marker, yeah.
So at that point, the price was sort of around here this morning, right? The trend line was actually, I drew it more like this. On the video, so it was around about, yeah, it was that, like that, see?
Yeah.
So see how at that point, the price broke out and then retested and then continued up. I don't know if you can sort of see that. See how, like, we're drilling into like really, really, you know, small time frames. That's something that I wouldn't recommend when you're first starting out. However, the same principles apply in terms of, you know, being able to find trades on different time frames. This trade played out in 4 hours, basically, you know, from where this candle was at the time. It broke out. So what I'm talking about is that it broke out there, came back down, and then kept going. So the entry level for that trade was around about, it should have been around about here, right? The bottom of the candle. My stop loss was below previous market structure, which is basically below the candle, the wick on that candle. And then my target was like further up, I don't know, trying to get 8 to 1 or whatever. So that's just an example. Like, you know, you can see why people would, you know, look at timeframes like on a smaller time frame to try and win quicker trades, right? However, it requires more dedication, requires more time in front of the computer, and, you know, really setting your stops and things like that, versus pulling out to the day charts or even the 1 week charts and not concerning yourself with, you know, that little bit of the candle. That was literally just one candle on the day chart, which hasn't even finished yet. So in the grand scheme of things, that's why I call those like my little, you know, icing on the cake kind of trades. That's a tiny little candle compared to everything else, but you can still get the same risk to reward levels.
And just so you guys know, we didn't just randomly come up with, oh, we're going to do an 8 to 1 trade here. Like, we didn't just go, oh, we really want to make 8 to 1, so that's what we're going to do. The reason why we did that, I'm going to ask you guys, why do you think the reason why we thought that we could pull off an 8 to 1 trade this morning? Is there a reason why we thought we could do that? So if you do that, just put that line in there where Kev was where you're looking to enter, Kev.
I'll go back to the 4-hour chart.
Yeah, go back to the 4-hour chart. And I'd just love to know whether you guys can say the reason why we thought we could get an 8 to 1 trade there. So remember, the trend line was here. Disregard that big green line that's popped out, right? That it was hanging around that, what was it, 18,700 kind of mark.
It was 18,753 or something.
Yeah, and we were thinking that we could get an 8 to 1 trade, which would take us up to, it was like 19.2 or something, I believe, or 19.2, I think it was. So is there a reason why you guys think that we thought, hey, we can pull off this kind of big trade and get all the way up to there? Is there anything that you can see why we wouldn't just shoot for like a shorter level, or why we were confident?
The support and resistance?
Correct. Exactly right.
And the previous data.
Previous data tells us that if we broke through and we had a retest off that trend line, so we had this downtrend, it tried to push back up. If we had a retest back to that trend line, which is what happened, previous data told us that there was very little resistance from 18.7 up to 19.3 or 19.5, I believe it is. But, you know, we'd still have the trade getting played out now. There was very little resistance from that point. And that's exactly how it played out. That's not how it's going to always happen. But previous data told us this morning, and you can go back and watch the recording. We'll send it out. We might put it on there as a bit of a joke when we do send the recording. But it told us that if it can break out of here, which there's a very good chance of it happening, it formed up that way, that if it retests and it breaks out, it's going to hit back up to 19.3, which, you know, who would have thought that would have happened within the space of 6 hours? But it did happen. And these are the things that do happen if you just take that bit of time. And we just drew that up with the guys this morning. And that's literally an 8 to 1 trade, right?
Yeah, and you could technically, like, just to show the difference between the 8 to 1 trade there and this. So the reason why that was viable, sorry, I'm just trying to get this okay, 7.99 based on that stop loss. The reason that was a viable trade based on the trading rules and looking at market structure and all that sort of thing. See how over here on a smaller time frame, the reason the stop loss was there was because it was under that market structure and it had broken this trade. So that's still kind of risky, right? Because it's a smaller time frame trade. There's you know, levels here to indicate that data. And I wasn't trying to shoot for the moon for like, you know, 20,000 or whatever. I was being aware that, okay, over here it's rejected several times. So that's why the target was somewhere up there. Then after that, being I like doing short-term trades as well as long-term, but if with my short-term hat on, I would have traded this up there and then looked for, okay, will it reject here? If it rejects here, I look for shorts back down, either back down to trend or back down to support, right? If the price was to go up and break through there, then I would look at this as support for potential trade up again, right? The difference between that kind of short-term trading is there's potential to, you know, trade up and down, whatever, within the day. So we talked about, you know, being a day trader and trying to make trades throughout the day. Whereas this other style, which was more of a, I guess, a long position or breakout trading. So I have to delete all these things just not to confuse people, right? The trade that we've put on, or that you could put on, sorry, to receive the same 8-to-1 ratio would be this trade here, waiting for the price to come back down and then potentially bounce off support and, you know, keep going. The reason why that is riskier, though, if you're trying to just catch an 8-to-1 trade, is that look at the market structure, right? Where's our reference point for putting the stop loss there? All we've got is that there's a couple of wicks over here, but the data around this area tells us that when the price came back down from here down to here, it went back down here before coming up. So the probability of this trade coming here and bouncing off, which is our ideal, it actually has a risk of going down here, coming back down here, and then coming back up and, you know, potentially repeating itself. So realistically, our trade here, our stop loss would actually have to be even below this wick on the left. So that only gives us a risk to reward ratio of 1.36 versus the, you know, trying to get that 8-to-1 reward. You can even, you know, get more, but you're also at more risk because the probability shows us from previous data that that's the safe zone for us to be in. I hope that makes sense to everyone.
Yeah, and just so you know, guys, this probably doesn't make sense to you now, and me and Kevin are totally realistic with that. It's just really crucial that when we get this recording together, and if you want to really delve in more, that you watch the recording a few times, because once again, I'm referring to my own learnings. I did not understand this the first time people told me this, and we totally get you guys. Most of you guys are watching this recording, and you guys on this live call now are completely green to this. So totally get it. We've literally gone just on 4 hours. I know we started a little later and we had a couple of little breaks in there, but just so you know, I really want you guys to give yourselves a pat on the back, because the information that you've taken in over the last nearly 4 hours is kind of around about 12 hours worth of information that we normally would tell people and do it in. The reason why we did it and try to condense it and put it in this shorter space of time is a couple of reasons. But the main one is that we really wanted to give the maximum amount of value to you guys and push you to that point of your brain exploding, which it probably has over the last 2 days, and we totally respect and understand that. But you now have the opportunity to hopefully see the benefits of what we've done, not just with trading, but with crypto and the things you learned yesterday. And you can kind of watch these videos back and let it all sink in again. You know, maybe give yourself 24 hours to download it and then go again. That's just how I learned. Some people might stop this and then watch the recording straight away, each to their own. Well, actually, we won't have it through to you straight away, so you can't do that. But we'll have it through to you very soon. Look, that pretty much does conclude the live trade. we are we want to be as respectful as we can for your time. The last thing we did want to touch on for you guys before we do move on for today is we wanted to give you guys the opportunity and understand how you can up your game and how you can level up, and how Kevin and I have leveled up and been able to improve in such a quick period of time, especially from where we were and the bad skills that we had learnt to retraining ourselves this year and getting to where we are. There's no way that we would have been where we are now without doing what we're about to show you. So to break it down into 5 points, this is how you do upgrade your game. So you need to upgrade your quality of learning material. So we hope that what we've been able to provide over the last 2 days has really helped you upgrade your quality of learning materials. And you can watch these recordings back and refer to them. And obviously, you know where we are. If none of it, you know, some of you guys may be already friends with Kev. Some of you guys may be already friends with me. If you're not, please feel free to add us on Facebook and also jump in our Crypto Collective group, which you'll see on Kevin's website. The second thing is upgrade your feedback loops. This is so important. So getting that feedback off people, off your mentors, off, you know, people that you want to emulate or aspire to have that kind of knowledge. It's so crucial, right? And we all know that. We're all very smart people on this call, and the people watching the recording are as well. Upgrade your environment. These all kind of link in with each other, right? We know that. We've all got distractions. We've all got things going on. I totally get it. I've got 4 kids. You know, a lot of the time, I don't know how you guys couldn't hear what was going on out there, but it's quieter now because it's a bit later my time. But, you know, try and have that separation, but also make sure you're talking to your partner or talking to your loved ones or whatever it is to say, hey, I do need this. I just need an hour if I can at some point this afternoon or some point this evening where I want to go over this video, and I really want to try and do it in a quiet space if possible. And if you have that partner or someone that can really help you with that, then that's great, because they can give you that hour where you may be able to go into a room and try and download and watch this again. And that kind of links in with upgrading your commitment. So if you really want to do this, and we mentioned this over the last couple of days, and I talked about it yesterday, about being an active investor or an active trader. And just, I gave the example yesterday about the amount of messages that I've received in the last few months since Bitcoin has started booming again of, oh, hey man, I remember I bought like $3,000 worth of Bitcoin on some random website, and can you help me find it? I don't even know. Like $3,000 is a lot of money, right? I don't care who you are. $3,000, you don't just go putting it somewhere and forgetting about it, right? So, you know, you need to be committed to a point to keep learning more information and taking more in, so you can keep getting better and therefore keep improving, and hopefully, you know, all of that links to one thing, which is growing your wealth, and that'll all link in with it. And it leads us to the 5th one, which is upgrading your mentors, right? And kind of like that does kind of link in with all of them, because that's really upgrading your environment especially. And we want to share with you guys some mentors that we have now, and some mentors that we've been dealing with. Now, we don't really recommend a lot of different things. We don't really recommend a lot of businesses, a lot of companies, and all this kind of thing. But the reason why we're recommending these guys at MBA Trading Academy is because they've been Kevin and my mentors, and I guess personally we've felt and kind of gone through the experience of where we kind of were to where we are now, and how it's retrained us. And a lot of our mentors outside of trading are with these guys as well, and it's kind of like helped us to understand the importance of it and to really learn about it. Like some people who are listening to the call may know Roscoe, and a couple other people know Paul, and some other people, Paul Holland, and some other people who do it. And we've been dealing with these guys for a while now and working with these guys. And as far as trading mentors are concerned, we genuinely believe there's none better in the world of crypto than these guys. And there's a couple of reasons why we wanted to share this with you, which we will share now. And I'll try and get through this quickly so you guys, you know, you can watch this back later or take it in now, whatever you like.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
sorry, man.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, the three guys there on the screen as well, just to give you a bit of a break, Troy. Three guys on the screen there. So there's Jason on the left, and he was a financial analyst and basically helped the rich get richer, and then figured out how to do it on his own, and you know, started trading and became a master trader. And then Paul Trelaw, who's in the middle there. Maybe Linda, you've come across him because he's also part of Tony Robbins's Platinum Partnership Program. He's worked with lots of businesses, you know, high performance businesses, and has his own luxury brands and things like that. You know, working
Is
with.
he a lion?
Sorry,
he's a lion. Not a, is he? He's a lion, not a platinum, right? What's his name?
Paul Trelaw. Paul Trelaw.
Yeah, he might, because there's platinum level and then there's lions, and lions are like even more exclusive.
I've got a feeling.
Surprised if he was. I mean, he was worked with business to do like $2 million to $100 million turnover. So he's definitely up there, and he does the psychology type stuff in MBA. So he runs coaching sessions and things like that as well, helping people with their psychology and all that sort of thing. And then there's Michael Sloggett, who's there on the right, and he's the I guess the poster child for this whole program, because he came from you know, a very you can say rough background, and then went through the army and then learned how to trade via Jason, and he's kind of like helped people understand through layman's terms about trading. And that's why it's also like sort of like caught on fire, I guess, this whole program, because they've created this program that Troy and I have also started following, where prior to MBA, I'd done, I think, 4 or 5 trading courses. One of them cost me about $15,000. And I am thankful for that experience, because I learned how to trade stocks and Forex and all this sort of stuff. But part of me is also like, I wish I didn't learn all those bad habits, which are now I'm trying to find, like, I'm trying to undo those habits through MBA, because they teach it so simply, so easily, that it's just like, yeah, I find the people who are getting it a lot quicker than me are the people who haven't had the previous, you know, conditioning and over-analysis and all that sort of thing that I have. So anyway, so moving forward, what you get with MBA trading is over 20 hours of foundational technical analysis videos. So the things that we've tried to squeeze in over this weekend, you get those in separate lessons that you can watch anytime you want. So it's a self-paced course, and there's hours and hours worth there in the back office of the program. They'll take you through everything from, you know, similar to, you know, learning what Bitcoin is, all the way through to psychology and mindset and all that sort of stuff. And then aside from that, you also get access to the School of Sparta. And the School of Sparta is what initially started as, you know, I think it was 30 people trading based on Michael's first 30 people that he got into the program, which then became the Academy. The School of Sparta Live is basically people getting on a call, like similar to this, on Zoom, every Monday, and then Tuesday there's 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the evening, and then Wednesday night, Australian time. And those sessions are also recorded, so you can watch them back later. But what they do is the coaches go through the market and do their scans and analysis in a much quicker format than Troy and I have done, because, you know, they're not having to explain things. They just go through these are potential zones to look at and where to place potential trades. So that's really handy. And then on the Friday, they also do like a technical analysis review with other trainers and coaches, where, you know, there's some homework to submit, but it's also like the sounding board, where you can go, hey, I'm looking at this particular chart. This is a trade I'm looking at. Can one of the professional traders sort of give you feedback on what your chart looks like? So again, it gives you more confidence to place your trades. And then there's also Discord channel. So I wanted to show you guys this, because I think this is you know, one of the most valuable sort of areas in the program, because it's real time, right? You're not just going back watching replays or anything like that. They do real time posts, they do real time trade analysis, so that if you're also running short on time, you can jump on some of the trades that they're looking at Can you see my Discord screen here?
Yeah, we can see it, mate. Yep.
Yeah. So Cherie, you mentioned before about you know, do you have to sit in front of the computer all day? No, you don't have to. The traders actually put their charts in here and also set alerts, so you can just jump into the Discord channel and look at, you know, if you're looking at this particular coin or something like that, you can just jump in and see what the analysis was in the previous video, and you can make you know, more educated guesses. Do the smart trading thing, like say in this this particular thing here, you get the option of like, okay, if I was looking for a long, then this is where I would enter, this is where I would exit. Or if I was going for a short based on the trend breaking, then this is the short levels that I would enter. So it's really handy. Like I'm not trying to promote like copy trading. You wouldn't want to just do that. You always have to do your own analysis, but at least you have the confidence that these coaches and trainers have or are doing these particular trades, and they post their results there, whether they win or lose. Like, you know, this one won 6.7%, this one was it lost 2.2%, so on and so forth. But there's 3 active traders that, you know, post their information there. Also, there is a ladies only group as well, which that's half the reason why I asked my partner as well. You know, she was interested in NBA, and then she's learning to trade now. And I was like, can you tell me what the girls get up to? Because they seem to get better results than us guys.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's really important, that side. So then there's a Facebook group where, you know, people interact, and the community is very active there. Everyone's here to help. You know, we touched on that a little bit yesterday. Like there's less people trying to be like, you know, capitalist mindset, me, and there's more people in the space now that are just like, look, if I can help you out and help others, then it just creates a better world, right? The other component to it is they also have, aside from trading, they have this SOS 45 challenge, where it's basically like anything to do with your health and fitness and mindset and psychology. You get entire tools and videos in SOS that, like, there's a personal trainer there who you know, has a whole workout course that you can follow. There's the motivational stuff, the mindset stuff in there. They even have cookbooks, right? And people share like what are the best things that can help you get into this, you know, optimal performance level when it comes to trading. And if you look on my Facebook, I recently completed last month I completed the 45-day challenge, and there's just some of the results. And that's what actually got my partner Sheila into it as well, because she saw the results that were changing. And it's not just going to the gym, but like doing things like, you know, meditating daily, doing you know, reading certain books on self-development, just 10 pages at a time, doing things like you know, doing your must-do tasks versus just like a to-do list. So that's been really valuable for me. And then there's also access to the future live online trading courses and training materials, which you can't really put a price on that because it's real-time material, you know, keeping up to date with the market. And then you also get priority access to the events and things that they host around the world. So that, you know, I think the next one's happening in February in Australia, which is going to be a pretty big red carpet rollout because everyone's been stuck in COVID, right? Or because of COVID, stuck in quarantine. So that's happening in February. And then they've done a Bali retreat, a retreat in Philippines. They've done one in Vietnam. I'm hopefully going to try and get them to come over here to Thailand one day. And then there's also independent business owner trainings. And that's the stuff that Troy and I do. Basically, the independent business owner trainings, if you were to take this to the next level in terms of wanting to turn this into a business, because there's an opportunity to earn passive income by sharing the opportunity and also being, you know, a educator in the space, then that's available for people, this is more like, I guess, Linda and Kirtan with the stuff that you do. Like, this is where the psychology, mindset stuff comes into play. And, you know, on the business side, I'm sort of going on a bit of a tangent, but, you know, there are potential opportunities for mentoring and coaching people as well who go through this process. So all up, you get all this value, right? That isn't just cerebral training, right? You join a supportive group of 6,000 plus students and traders. I think it's gone up more than that now. There's the weekly market scans. There's hours of recorded lessons and strategies. The guys are really, really active on Facebook every day. There's posts. There's, if you need a question answered, there will be someone there to help answer that question and help take you through things. And then you get access to private trading communities. There's the Discord group. There's the recipe books, which I love. And then there's a whole bunch of resources and tools just to optimize your life. And that's all part of the program. It's literally the most holistic program I've ever come across in my space in crypto. And all that is worth a ton of money. But because of what the guys have put together and the value that they want to give to share to people and get people on board in crypto, it's actually only $149 US per month to be part of the subscription, and you can cancel anytime. So it's kind of giving people the opportunity to have a taste of trading and what the community is like. You could jump in for 30 days, consume as much of the material as you want, and then cancel if it isn't for you. But the knowledge that you learn and that you'll take away from this, you're going to be making more than $150. I'll put it to you now. Like, I know we're not supposed to be, giving financial advice or
asterisks under that, mate,
or whatever. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I'm going to get teary. Wait, got to hold the emotions in. So there's a friend of mine who he's here on the island, and he was in a situation just 2 weeks ago where Thai baht isn't the same as US dollars. Let's put it that way, right? The difference of $50 here can last weeks versus over there that's the price of a coffee and a croissant and something else maybe. And he took a really big risk by jumping into the program. He only had $50 to trade, and over 3 nights he absolutely hounded me. Like, we were doing nights like up until 4 a.m. Where he was here every day, and he was just absorbing everything like a sponge. Not because he wanted to do it. Well, he did want to do it. He was interested in it, obviously. But because of his situation, he was, he needed a way to improve his status here on the island, his financial status. And in those 3 days, by the 4th day, he was posting up, 300% gains, even though the gains were only, per percentage-wise, right? We're working on percentage. They were only bringing in like 40 cents, $1, whatever, a few dollars here and there. But he started applying what he'd learned, even though he was still early on. And as of this point, 2 weeks in, he's actually made, percentage-wise, he's made better percentage gains on trades than I have in the last 2 weeks, which is really like, a part of me is like, I wish I could just give him my trading account to, to trade on my behalf, because that part of my voice is like, oh, I don't have time and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. Like, learn from that. Like, the fact that he remained teachable and hungry and became active has now, transformed his life, and will continue to transform his life so long as he applies the things that he's learned. And the reason I get really emotional about it is because, I mean, from such a small amount, $50 trading, percentage-wise, I know he's going to do even better in the future. And it's like, that feel-good feeling of like empowering someone else in life. And I just wanted to share that. So
yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah. Sorry, you try.
No, it's awesome, dude. He's and he's killing it. He's awesome. And he's been part of the group. Kevin and I have another group that we set up just for students. There's about 40 odd people in there, and a couple of people who are in it obviously have been on this call as well, which is awesome. And by all means, this isn't like, well, we just wanted to share with you an opportunity, right? So don't feel like you have to do anything or yes or no or whatever. We just wanted to share and say, look, this is what's really worked for us. And you know, we've seen life-changing things happen in the last 12 months, especially people making life-changing wealth that yeah, you just can't emulate and you just can't see in other areas. So it's been amazing. So thank you, Kev, for sharing that with us as well. We have gone way over time. We do apologize for that. We did go down the rabbit hole of a couple of things. We really appreciate everyone's attentiveness and understanding. We totally get that we've jammed so much information and tried to cram it into a shorter period of time. We hope we haven't overwhelmed people. We on the contrary, we kind of hope we've more so inspired you to take these next steps and kind of understand the power of this space and just like we've said before, and it's probably sounding like a broken record, just what is possible if you just apply yourself a little in an area that is just begging for attention, and you have the ability to potentially earn you know, money that you haven't dreamed of, and kind of set up a lifestyle for your kids and your kids' kids. I think you brought up a message that Mick received earlier today. Is that right, Kev?
Yeah, I wanted to show that as well. Like, you know, the reason I'm sharing this other stuff, like, yes, we've done, you know, a pitch about this program that's available, but I also want to share the back side of things, or the back end of things, because it's real, right? And change is happening. It's really crazy. I guess in my experience, I've gone through a whole bunch of conferences and NLP stuff and business stuff, and you know, where people get motivated. I guess Linda, you could attest to this as well with your experience with you know, Tony Robbins. There's a lot of hype that goes through in like selling products and events and whatnot, and then people get sort of excited, and there's a certain percentage that keep going and pushing through and making results. And then there's the majority of people who kind of like fall by the wayside. The excitement goes down, and then they're left somewhat unsupported within the community. But this is one community that I've found where, regardless of what the question is or how stupid I think I'm being or how risky I'm being or whatever, there's someone to either give me advice or hold me accountable to you know, what I'm doing in the space. And I can see every day that there's change happening in other people's lives. There are people who, I had a friend sign up this week who, he was actually part of the original MBA group, and he did it for a few months, then dropped out because he'd learned whatever he could at the time. And then now that he's seen all this change happening and you know, there's been more learnings happening, he's jumped back into the community, and he can actually not only be a student, but also provide other learnings. Like in bots, he really got into bots and automatic trading that he can now share with other people in the community and help to give back. And so I guess, yeah, what I want to get through is that even if you don't pursue trading and you don't do this course and whatever else, the stuff that you've learned through these calls or this weekend is enough to get you started. But you're not going to get a whole way further, or you're not going to get really far if you don't have that support, or if you don't have your you know, your Ninja Turtles around you to sort of keep you up and accountable and doing well in the space and keep you motivated, you know. Regardless of whether you're making $100,000, $1 million in trades, $10, $100, whatever, you have those days where things just don't work out. You don't have, you know, those trades just don't work your way. You have those days where you're absolutely winning as well, and you know, you lean more on the side of profit. How much money can I make? The greed side of things versus the how can I actually keep this? How can I, you know, minimize my risk? And the community is there to support you through those decision-making points when you need it. So yeah, I hope everyone's gotten, good value from this weekend. And yeah, again, whether or not you continue with this, there's absolutely no pressure at all. But we just wanted to share that this is available, and it's what's made things possible for us as well. So yeah.
This is really, really amazing. And is there a deadline on this?
No deadline. Because it's a self-paced course. You could literally jump in anytime and start watching videos and whatever. I mean, the live calls obviously happen. You have to be on the live calls or watch the replays to be relevant to the market. But in terms of the learning, you can just watch anytime. And yeah,
There's no deadline on the offer.
Oh, there's no deadline on the offer. Yeah, it's just that's what it is. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good to know. And it's actually, I actually asked the same question when someone introduced me to it earlier this year, at the beginning of the year. So what's the deadline? Because people who are in the know and kind of understand how this works know that Kev's the same. He paid like $15,000 for a trading course. I paid for one that was close to $10,000 upfront. This is no payment packages, and what we've got out of a year's worth of MBA, or just under a year's worth, it far surpasses what we paid in the past and what we've learned. It's been amazing. I mean, we could talk about this forever, and Kev and I are both massive nerds, so we could talk about crypto to you guys forever. We will totally want to respect everyone's time. We have gone nearly 90 minutes over what we said we would, and I know that some people have put in a really long shift. So I have dropped that link again. That's just a link to my Calendly, where Kev or myself can talk to you guys. So calendly.com/MBA get started. If anyone isn't already part of it, make sure you jump onto Kev's. Kev, do you want to just drop your website in the chat as well again, man, so people can join the crypto collective community? Join our community if you haven't already on Facebook. Most of you probably have because you've heard of it through there, but if not, that's totally fine. Jump in and join. And yeah, like hopefully you get involved. Hopefully you guys can really see the value, and hopefully we've been able to provide over this 2 days the kind of inspiration to get started in this space, and you can kind of see the potential. I know we've really talked a lot about trading today, and there's probably people who probably walked away from here with a very congested head. But I guess we wanted to try and really show you guys that with a bit of dedication, you can make life-changing gains in within a lot shorter period than what you think. So look, thank you all so much again. Thank you, Kev. You've been an inspiration and a legend, as you always are. I'm so proud to call you my brother from another mother as well. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. A massive thank you to Jartan and his amazing meditation skills. And I might have to call him up every time I'm about to drop a trade and go, mate, can you give me 5? So let me think about this. But we will also, on the recording we send out, drop Jartan's website as well, so you can always check out more about the amazing things that he does as well. Thank you to everyone that's on. So thank you, Cherie, Linda, Ollie, and Lily. And thanks to anyone else who's watching the recording. You're all legends. The great thing is that you have no choice but to start yourself a crypto wallet, because you are going to be sent in Q2 next year from our awesome sponsors, SyncDAO, 27 Australian dollars worth of SDG tokens. So it could be the next Bitcoin and we'll all be rich. That'll be awesome. But everyone, so it's effectively you got all this for free, which is awesome, because you're going to get $27 worth of their tokens. Awesome. Kev, I think we're about it. I think we're about done. Thank you all, you guys. It's been awesome.
Everyone so much. It's been, what a weekend. We've done these 4
weekend. I've started to sleep, man,
every day, and it's been a ride. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Like, I know I can, go off on tangents and things like that. But yeah, it's yeah, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate everyone's time being here, and I just really hope that you've received some sort of value from this. And yeah, if you just to make a distinction between the Crypto Collective and MBA, the Crypto Collective is just a Facebook group that Troy and I are running. Like, I started this in 2017, just sharing what I do in crypto with people. So it's a totally free group, and I put in like the things that I do there. Sometimes some ways to make money, some ways to profit from crypto. So that's a totally different thing. Like, you can just jump on there and see what works for you there. It's not just trading focused, and then the MBA is purely just for trading. So yeah, just wanted to. I can't thank you guys enough for your time. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, we could be massive nerds and keep going here, but we do need to call it a night. Yes, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Lily. Yeah, and like I said, that offer's there, Lily. So for you joining late, happy to have a one-on-one catch up. And yes, guys, awesome. Make sure you hit us up. Justin, I'll add you on Facebook, man, and we'll connect, dude. Yeah, make sure you hit us up. Let's be friends on Facebook and all be like nerds together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have an amazing night, week, day, wherever.
You too, guys.
Bye.
Love you all. Have a good one.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.